Welcome to Wealthy Sis Talk Show. And I am Noni, and I'm with your deaf-friendly doula. We're going to talk about my journey and how I became a doula. First, I started about 18. One of my cousins was pregnant, and she asked me to go with her to a doctor's appointment. And during this appointment, I learned all kinds of things, and by habit, I just absorbed. And we continued to go on to all of her doctor's appointments. And I remember when she went into labor, she ended up calling me, asking me to be there. Even though the dad was present, she wanted me in the room. And I think that was just a comfortability because we had been to the doctor's office before. And we went through everything, the birth, and I remember I was so fascinated because I got a chance to cut the umbilical cord. And that just kind of changed the whole motivation for me. And maybe about 3 years ago, my god sister, who is a NICU nurse, called me and told me that she had became a doula. I had never heard the word, so I Googled it. And doula actually means woman servant or service of woman. And she told me how to get into the classes and things like that. So I went ahead and I found a class to get into. Once I got in, the first training, I was comfortable, but I didn't feel just 100%. So I went into another training, which was with a midwife. And after that, I think my confidence had gotten a lot better. I felt a lot more comfortable working with moms. And from my own experience, I have carried a child, but it did not come to term. And I remember being by myself. And I promised myself that day that my mission as a doula would be to work with mothers. I did not want another mother to be by herself. I didn't want her to feel that way. So that's how I got into the journey. Most would like to know, what is a doula? A doula is a non-medical support which helps through birth, sometimes before, during, and after. We are emotional support. We are physical support. We are mental support. We give evidence-based education. We actually work with, we teach comfort measures, different techniques to kind of keep the mom calm and actually help with this young child, this baby. We'll go reset. A doula actually holds space for moms and their family. We are the welcoming team. I think my favorite part about being a doula is actually when we are in a hospital and I get to set the environment, because usually hospitals are real fast paced. Even if you're at home, you're getting ready to have a baby, the energy is high, everybody's nervous. So I like to come in with nice calm music, depending on what the mom likes. If she might like nature signs. She might like sounds. She might like nature sounds. She might like jazz. She might want gospel, whichever that is. I usually bring a diffuser and I find out what's kind of calming for her. Some people like lavender. To my surprise, someone liked lemon. When I come into the room, I like to set the environment, and the first thing that I want to do is I like to dim the lights. I like to dim the lights in the room because it brings everybody down. And when I set the environment as a doula, I'm not only setting it for the mom and for the family, I'm also setting it for the doctors and the nurses. Because when you are in a hospital and everything is moving so fast, everything is fast paced, when you walk into this room, the lights are dim. We have a nice scent that's going on. We have nice soothing music, which kind of brings the doctors and the nurses down, not only for them, but that's just a good welcoming area for a baby to come into. It's relaxing. I think that's one of the favorite things I like about being a doula. You might ask, what is a deaf-friendly doula? A deaf-friendly doula is because I am actually a deaf advocate. I'm a sign language interpreter. And I've been doing this since maybe I was 16, 17 years old. I've always advocated for it. And one of the things I wanted to point out about being the deaf-friendly doula is that how important it is for a deaf mom, to have a live interpreter. And the best way for me to explain it to the audience is to say, as a hearing person, if you go into a hospital, the hospital, everyone that works there, all the staff, the nurses, the doctors, even the patients there are all deaf, and you're a hearing person. And you have to figure out how to read the paperwork that's in ASL, what is going on. Your family don't know what's going on. So it's really, really important for you to have a live ASL interpreter. Where I come in is that I am able to communicate. I do not step into the role of a sign language interpreter when I'm working as a doula, because it can kind of be too much on everybody. So what I would do is I'm there to actually communicate. So for instance, if the interpreter is not there yet, I can speak with this mom and tell her what the doctor is saying. I can transfer these things of what is going on, what is happening, to kind of keep her anxiety down until we actually have an interpreter. But also at the beginning, I like to set up where we can have a live interpreter. We want to make sure that we have a live interpreter for this mom. And when you talk about doulas, that is kind of like a really large umbrella. And under there, I just want to give you a few of the doulas that we like to have. One of them is a birth doula. Birth doula is support through pregnancy, labor, and a couple of hours after, depending on how the birth went. You might have a postpartum doula. Postpartum doulas usually come in after the mom has given birth, and one of the things I like is the overnight doula, because it gives the mom time to recover, to sleep. She comes in maybe between, depending on what schedule you say. For example, I'm gonna say 9 o'clock. The postpartum doula gets there. She lets the mom retire to get some rest, and the doula actually takes care of the baby, make sure it's fed, make sure it's changed. Once all of that has happened, we might wash bottles, we might wash some clothes, we might do some meal prep, just to kind of give the mom time to really recover and get some sleep. And usually we're out of there by 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Everything is set for the mom, and the next day we do it again. My favorite is actually the dad doula. The dad doula is where I work with one-on-one with the dad, even though with the mom, but I work with the dad to kind of give him an understanding of what's going on with the mom, how to support her, how to comfort her in the time of labor. And we want to get that oxytocin going, because that actually helps. Oxytocin means we don't need the Pitocin. Pitocin is just a synthetic oxytocin, but the dad doula actually helps, because when you come in, the dad can connect with the mom, and again, that's releasing the oxytocin, and that's exactly what we need.
All right, Noni.
Okay.
So we have a question from our viewers, and the question is, are doulas only for natural births, or do doulas also help women who possibly may have a C-section?
Are doulas only for natural birth? I get that question a lot. No, they are not. Doulas are for if you are having a natural birth, if you are having a cesarean, if you are scheduled to have a C-section. When we begin to work, we work in all of those things. We actually factor in that, maybe because birth is not 100%. We don't know how it's going to come, how everything is going to pan out. So the first thing we want to do is prepare for, if you're going to have your child natural, we're going to prepare if you have to have an epidural. We're going to prepare if you have to have a C-section. We're going to prepare for all these different things, and that's why it's so important to have a doula, because a doula actually is the help for you to kind of your guidance during this journey. In closing, I would like to end with my favorite rule, which is the Will 93 rule, and that is prepare, practice, and perform. Until next time, I'm Noni, signing out.